Chattanooga, St. Louis, Missouri, Louisville, Kentucky, Jacksonville, Florida, Denver, Colorado, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Seattle, Washington, Detroit, Michigan, and Kansas City, home of the three-time NFL Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. Working the Los Angeles Missouri Chamber of Commerce for October the 18th, 2025. My name is our coach, host, and creator of Elder Lyles, Scott Owen, and Mr. Chuck DeBoe. And we're broadcasting live on regular USAHotTalkRadio.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and we're broadcasting from beautiful, wet Woodson Terrace in St. Louis City and all of Missouri. We get rain. In Missouri, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But we got rain. But anyway, we broadcasting live today. We also thank you so much for making us to the Chamber of Commerce. And for your weekends in 2015. And by the way, we're every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. That's 2015. And we also reverse our programs entirely on Sundays and Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. And right now, without further ado, we will have prayer for the Elder Lyles, who's the pastor of the Walnut Park Baptist Church, located at 5547 Linden Avenue. That's in St. Louis, Missouri, 63120. We will have prayer, which we all need prayer. We'll be able to Lyles, pastor of the Walnut Park Baptist Church, located in North St. Louis at 5547 Middle Avenue, 6312. By the way, the church was not damaged during the tornado, which is a good thing. Next portion here, we that of Elder Lyles, who's the pastor of the Walnut Park Baptist Church, located at 5547 Middle Avenue. See that 3 times, and you're good. And without further ado, God, what are you doing, sir?
Fine. Let's bow our head. Heavenly Father, we thank you for waking us up this morning. You didn't have to, but you did. We thank you for blessing the universe, Heavenly Father. Blessing everybody in the universe. Some went to sleep, some didn't go to sleep. But those that went to sleep, hope that they were saved. If they weren't, they in hell. And those that still woke, that they all right, and they get on board before it's too late for them if they're not on board. And Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your wonderful gospel, how that Christ died for our sin, was buried, and rose again. I continue to believe into the saving of the soul, continue to make heaven your home, before you sleep and after you sleep. Heavenly Father, we just ask you to continue to bless everyone in the universe in Jesus' most precious name, and that we have a wonderful fellowship with you. Amen.
Amen, and amen. Thank you, sir, for those beautiful words, and that allows, if ever was a time for prayer, it is now a time for prayer.
All right, the subject, I'm in John, the 3rd chapter of John. That's what we're going to start with. But the 3rd chapter of John, the 3rd chapter of John is the gospel, the new birth. The gospel is the new birth. That's why this is the only message that get people to go back to heaven and be with God forever.
Okay.
Is believe in the gospel. It's the 3rd chapter of John. The J in John means Jesus.
Amen.
The O means omnipresence. The H means holy. The N means nation.
Okay. Say it again, Reb. Say it again 3 times that you tell us already.
The J means Jesus. The O means omnipresent. The H means holy. And the N means nation. The J means Jesus. The O means omnipresent. The H means holy. And the N means nation.
I can relate to that, sir. I can relate to that.
The 3rd chapter of John, in the little foretitle said, Jesus and Nicodemus, the new birth, compared with verse 3. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God. For no man can do these miracles that thou doest except God be with him. Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus said unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? No, sir, he can't. Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That's how you're born again, by the water and the Spirit. That's the Holy Spirit birth, new birth.
Amen.
That's the new nature. That which is born of the flesh is flesh. That which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, How can these things be? Jesus answered and said unto him, Art thou a master of Israel, and knowest not these things? The reason why they didn't know about the gospel, because they weren't concerned with the gospel. They were talking everything but the gospel, and that's why people are so confused in the churches today. They said they think that the water baptism saves them. The water baptism, if you go down in the water, not believing Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, you're going to die and go to hell. But if you go down there believing, then you pass from death into life before you sleep and after you sleep. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and you receive not our witness. If I have told you earthly things, and you believe not, how should you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. The gospel. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he had not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And
you're breaking up a little bit, Brother Allen.
Huh?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, I'm too close to the mic then.
Probably.
All right, I'm higher now.
Sounds a little better.
Doing great.
Okay, and this is a condemnation that light is coming to the world. Men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light. These are coming to the light, that his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrong in God. After these things came Jesus and his disciples in the land of Judea. There he tarried with them and baptized. And John also was baptized in Aenon, near to Salem, because there was much water there. And they came and were baptized. But John was not yet cast into prison. There arose a question between some of John's disciples and the Jews about purifying. And they came unto John, said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with thee beyond Jordan.
Okay, now Rev, this is my favor, okay? When we just kind of review what Christ is just was talking about here, okay? When we talking about the light,
You breaking up. You breaking up.
Yep.
Well, we have some technical difficulties today early in the program.
Well, let's take a small break and reconnect. All right.
That'll work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Thank you so much, and welcome to Ferguson, USA Hot Talk Radio, talking with the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome back to Lunch at Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce. We have a technical break there, but right now we are reading from John, the third chapter, and the allowance was in the process of doing and explaining the message that Christ was giving us here before he began to baptize. So, Rev, tell us about reintroduce people to what Nicodemus, where we are here.
We in verse 25.
Okay,
We
well,
just left from verse. I'll read 24 again. But John was not yet cast into prison. Then there arose a question between some of John's disciples and the Jews about purifying.
Okay, Rev, before we get into John and the disciples, okay, clear up a little bit here about Nicodemus, okay, what Christ was telling him here, which was an important point here about how we can be born again. We don't want to leave people hanging on that. That's very important that people understand what is, what that actually means about how you being saved.
Oh, you want to go all the way back up to the top?
Not just review it in general. It gives an overview of what you just said, what's being said there. And when Christ is saying, he said, "Really, I say to you, we speak what we do know and testify what we have seen." And you receive not our witnesses. So anyway, explain, okay, what's Christ explaining to people who have been baptized, people who have not been baptized, and people are starting to get baptized. And that talks a little bit about that, why people want to be baptized and need to be baptized.
Okay. It said, in verse 3, Jesus answered and said unto him, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." Mm-hmm. Nicodemus said unto him, "How can a man be born when he is old? Mm-hmm. Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?" No. Jesus answered, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit." That's how you're born again. That's how you believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And you pass from death into life before you sleep and after you sleep. You have to believe that before you go in the water.
And also, when he said really, when he said back-to-back time, tell us what he's saying. When he said
the word verily means truly. Truly, truly.
Mm-hmm. You want to get your attention when he's saying that.
Yep. Start at verse 6. That which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, you must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but cannot tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? Jesus answered and said unto him, art thou a master of Israel, and knowest not these things? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness.
One other thing, let's go back to Nicodemus. Tell me, what does a Pharisee, since he described as a Pharisee, exactly what is a Pharisee?
A Pharisee ain't nothing but a lawyer.
Okay.
The scribes and the lawyers, and those were those Jews, those wicked Jews that had Jesus crucified.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they were.
Okay, so then the Bible here, Pharisees, and people say, well, what is a Pharisee? Okay, so he knew the law, but he didn't understand. He didn't understand what God was saying.
Now, the reason they didn't understand what God is saying because they was in unbelief.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you're in unbelief, you can't please God. But you might please yourself with your personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. So right now, we have a lot of people, who listen to what Nicodemus was saying and what the Pharisees, the lawyer, was saying. There's a big difference in what actually takes place, and that when Nicodemus couldn't visualize, how can this take place? Because it's not on paper this way. And God, Christ was saying, this is a new thing and a new day, and that he came here to make a change in life, and to change our lives forever. But we had to understand what he was doing, and nobody wanted to listen to him.
The reason why Nicodemus was a master of Israel, but Nicodemus cannot talk what he don't know.
Right.
So that's why he came that way, because he didn't know. And that's what they do in the churches. They keep the gospel hidden to the people.
Why is that?
That's why people say, I get baptized, I'm saved. I'm saved by going in the water. No, you're not. You got to believe the gospel before you go in the water. Water don't save. Belief saves. Jesus Christ, death, burial, and resurrection. That's what saves you from going up in hell. You get out in the water with them and conclude with the devil.
Okay.
Continue.
So you continue. Go ahead, sir.
If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, then unbelief is again. How do you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? And no man had ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, which is Jesus Christ, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven. He there now in heaven, waiting to come back to get us out of here, which is the next event is to rapture up the church. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so much the Son of Man be lifted up. That's when Jesus was on the cross, dying for your sin, was buried, and rose again. You believe that? You go to heaven. If you don't, you go to hell. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believe on him is not condemned. But he that believeth not is condemned already, because he had not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light, neither coming to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. After
So
these
right now-
things,
So right now, let's just stop it there and just kind of deal with this for another minute, okay? That you understand. Even today, okay, we are somewhat confused because there's no light. You're not explaining to us exactly what's going on.
when he said there ain't no light, that there ain't no light is talking about you in unbelief.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Anything else?
But no, we got to leave it there because the time already we have to stop, okay? But right now, this is, we wanted to thank you for enlightening us again. This is something that we've been talking about for years about how can we get saved. And he said, look, you broke it down right here.
You breaking up, Aaron. You breaking up.
The devil is busy. Am I okay, Scott, over your hand?
Yes, we're all breaking up.
Okay. Well, then we're going to take a small break. And thank you for those beautiful words that people can hear our voices now. Thank you for listening to PresidentUSHotTalker.com. Listening to my team of Congress, Prayer with Elder Loud, and also on that note, take a small break, Scott, and be right back. Thank you for listening. Love you to my team of Congress.
I'd say it's an Indian summer, yeah.
Yeah, that was something we used to, that's what they call it, but now we just outright dry now. Since May the 16th, when we had a tornado back in St. Louis, these people have been without electricity. They've been without tops on their homes. So this drought in a runabout wave was a blessing for a lot of people in St. Louis City. And so right now, we know we got rain coming in today, so we thank God for that. Know that God knows what He's doing. But anyway, so we got this week we had a great week, starting off with some great news that came from the release, okay, referring to the God's Spirit, where congratulations to President Donald Trump, bringing the parties together to make some headway finally on getting a ceasefire in the Middle East. And right now it seems to be holding out a couple of snags, but that's to be expected. But right now, things are really going in a positive way. And we thank God that will continue and that we will continue to have peace as we go forward. But the good part about this is now grain, the food is coming in. And there'll be some glitches. But the bodies are houses are still being returned. But the process is still going on, and it's still going on. now looking forward to going into the 18th day, which is the 18th of October, which is now the third longest United States government shutdown will go in sight. Right now, the Senate is back in D.C. and Senate President Johnson sent the senators home for the weekend. But in the meantime, the House of Representatives, and they sent them home because they tried voting again, and we still have the impasse where the Democrats are demanding changes in the company of health care. Like in Missouri, like a lot of places, the health care is the main issue because the schools are closing. Benefits are changing around for a lot of people, and unfortunately, the prices is going up, so that's not exactly a good thing. But right now, the House of Representatives is out also. They've been out since the 19th of September, almost a whole month. Matter of fact, just about a whole month another day. And Speaker Johnson has already kept the House out for next week for another recess. And so this is kind of, as this thing goes on, this has affected different things, in our government. One of the effects of the government shutdown has been on the SBA loan. According to the United States Chamber of Commerce, small businesses good news. This is $1 million in loan financing a day. $100 million in loan financing days. That means small businesses are definitely hurting. And also during the current shutdown, the SBA stated that an estimated 320 businesses are prevented from getting access to $170 million in regard to funding each day. This is not good. So that's why a lot of things are taking place in regard to the shutdown. And right now, the House could come back and could still do business, but there's a little small snag. When the House comes back into session, through the normal business, the Democrats will have 218 votes needed to open up the Jeffrey Epstein files. And so by Speaker Johnson prolonging this, not letting them vote. But now, in the meantime, while they're not letting them vote here in the United States, the Jeffrey Epstein situation is taking an impact over in England because Prince Andrew had just lost some of his titles that he had because of his actions that he had with Jeffrey Epstein. So right now, people, I'm not sure. I don't know what's in the file, but I know a lot of people know a lot of information will come forward. And so whenever we get back in session, so the shutdown will bring about more hardships that we have no control over. Okay, but right now, the controllers are working during the shutdown, and also during the shutdown. Shutdown is also delayed to Social Security. Like every year you get a cost of living. Cost of living. This is according to the AARP and senior citizens being about 2.7%, which is roughly 70 million people will be getting social. We getting Social Security, but with cost of living adjustment. A majority of Americans still face challenges covering basic expenses. Now, one of the things that we can say here is that we hope for another interest rate cut, which we'll know next week. But in the meantime, we can say that, that prices continue to go up. There's also, I can't call it good news or bad news, but right now some news that here in St. Louis area, where Boeing, which is a major contractor in the Florida area, that have a strike going on. It's been going on for quite a while now. but the complaint was filed with the labor board. So we don't see how that's going to take. But now the oil going back to the table, which is also a very good thing. And also like I said, the government shutdown has laid another major economic report, leaving policymakers at the Federal Reserve, with with how they can make changes or improvements as we look forward to a cloudier, this is not good, a cloudy picture as the economy continues a challenging phase of stubbornly, I see, the stubbornly persistent inflation. These guys use some big words, and they show up slow down in hiring. So now, make a long story short, this is not good. The labor market, money and face there had was scheduled to be released last Wednesday, but was postponed. We normally release that probably the 8th week on the program, but this week we're a little late on that. So right now, we shut down again. We have some agents that are still working, some that are not working. So in gathering the information needed to get these important reports to us, that regards to the economy, but guess what? Our government will work just a little slower to get them to us, so we will have that information come next Wednesday, and we will give it to you next week. And so that's a good thing there. Now also, as we look at, political side of this, about 7 in 10 AAPI, this is Asian American Pacific Islanders, people of color, from Asians, okay, more than 7 in 10 are more likely to hold a negative view of President Trump, according to a recent poll. But now this is, again, and this is going on, a lot of negative things are taking place. Now, as we look around the country, we find a lot of cities now dealing with immigrants. Even here in St. Louis, that's not being very vocal. But as we're speaking right now, there are more than 2,500 rallies across the country right now against the government, against President Trump. No king, no king, no king. And these protesters include a wide range of things, and that's why there's so many things on the table that's negative right now. And so keep in mind that as you hear all this negativity, that the House of Representatives, who vote every 2 years for their representation, find themselves not able to provide answers to their constituents, and they're not exactly happy either. Okay, because Marjorie Green, one of the Republicans, now she kind of came out against the shutdown, and they're saying that that Speaker Johnson, she's speaking out against it. That's a crack in their armor. So a lot of people right now are being affected by these high health prices, and this is all contributed to why the shutdown is going on. So as the Democrats attempt to negotiate a settlement of some sort here, but we're not quite sure where it's going to go. But one thing now, we're going into the third longest shutdown. Matter of fact, the longest shutdown took place back when President Trump was doing this. They would call it Trump 101 when he was president the first time around. That was the longest shutdown in our government. But now, if you look at this, a lot of federal agents of federal workers, there are threats of some people being fired, and there's a lot of activity going on in the courts because a lot of these workers cannot be fired because that's illegal for them to do that. Because we have a thing called the Hatch Act. See, one thing we work for the federal government, there's a lot of unions, there are a lot of protection that you have based into the Constitution about you can just lose your job. So it's not that you're working for a regular company or something that you can just do your job just like that. So there's a lot of things that you have to go through. Now, this is something that's bothered me quite a bit here. Okay, this past week, a Politico brought out some information about the Young Republicans. You know, it's an organization across the country. You know, from each state has their representatives there. And well, the Young Republicans have made some negative comments about blacks as watermelon people. You know, my people, we get it all the time. And some other racial slurs, and also about Latinos, and also he praised Adolf Hitler. And then also joked about some of their opponents, political opponents, to the gas chamber. Well, this first came out, our vice president came out first and said, well, no big deal, these are just kids. No, that's plain. Well, these are people that's I think from 18 to 40 years old. But these are not just young kids. And so right now, as it turns out, there's been now a fallout from this from the Young Republicans. Because in the state of New York, they have just shut down or disbanded altogether the organization there, for the whole state, because it just that negative, and it's continues to grow. Because some state officials are all part of this organization, and this has been going on. And except some of the people that was on the chat were saying, this may not be a good idea for us to be saying these things, but again, they kept on doing it. So right now, coming week or so, you're going to get more and more about that, which is not good. And also, something that I don't think is not as good. This past week, John Bolton, he was the former national ambassador for Trump in Trump 101 in his first term, had joined James Comey and Letitia James in being indicted by the Department of Justice in recent weeks. Now, the interim arrested Justice Attorney for the state of Virginia right now, Nancy Hamilton, has followed her instructions as most experienced attorneys felt Miss James and Mr. Comey cases were not strong enough for them to be indicted. So a lot of them stepped down, some got fired, but through it all, okay, they all right now would be going to court. But the one difference in the case of Mr. Bolton, there was no protesting, his case, because he was a little bit different than the other. But all of them are called right now a regime. President Trump getting even with some of his former people that he who worked against him, who were called the enemy list. And said, this is not what you call a good thing for our country. Because right now, our country is supposed to be a little bit better than that. Now, also in Chicago, which is also Cook County, the top judge there has signed an order barring ICE from arresting people when they come to court. Yeah, and a lot of people, immigrants right now are still trying to follow the rules. They're still going to report, that they're supposed to. And then they've been going to court, to check in and do what they're supposed to do, according to their being here. They had to go to court. Well, you're being arrested while in court. But this ICE thing has spread around the country, and I said ICE, the National Guard is now involved, and a lot of cities are having these issues, and really, these are the things right now that our country has seen to have gone through a great change, which is not good. Okay, to see all these people on the street, doing things that's not ethical in some cases. Now, a thing that's taking place early in the year, several universities, colleges, I should say, rejected President Trump's administration deal that would with them, for them to have to do certain conditions in return for them keeping the grants that the federal government will pass to them. So right now, the 5 universities that are still weighing down President Trump's higher education compact were asked to join a White House call Friday to discuss the whole deal. Now, the people that spoke for discovery followed a flurry of rejection from 4 of the 9 universities invited to be initially signatories of the agreement. The White House asked university leaders to provide initial feedback by October the 12th, which is, by come Monday, they need to have the information. So right now, there's a lot of things that are going on. And some of these universities are not just small, they're I've got Norman College, the University of Arizona, Texas, and also University of Virginia in Vanderbilt. So again, the leader of Texas assistant previously said they were honored to be included, but other universities have not indicated how they're meeting. So again, a lot is taking place in our government as we speak. And like I said, it's not people have to recall during the first part of the year, a lot of universities would have the grants being recalled. As a matter of fact, here in St. Louis, Missouri, Washington University, one of the largest universities in the country, has lost a lot of major grants, and to the point that they're laying off some of their professors, which is not good. And also because a lot of the programs that are needed for research are being affected. And also something that we need to keep in mind here, during the first part of the year, a lot of universities relied on students coming from foreign countries for their budgets. Well, right now, President Trump has blocked a lot of universities, a lot of countries, from the students coming into our country to go to school. Well, in doing this has created a problem, for the universities, because those were dollars or how they paid full fare. The full tuition when they went to school. Whereas some students, get grants that pay part of their tuition for them all of it, but these foreign students, they were paid full scholarships, and now that money is not coming into the budget. So guess what? We now have some problems now with the universities not having the money needed for them to operate, and not just Washington University, but mostly a major universities, especially in the East. And again, all the things that were taking place, during the Doge, when Elon Musk, well, all of those things now that took place then are starting to come home to roost, so to speak, for lack of a better description. And also, here in St. Louis, we got a very, very unique, crazy situation going on. God, I know you're in the county, down in Orlando, but here in St. Louis City, St. Louis is not county, St. Louis City, we have a sheriff, Mr. Alfred Montgomery. Now, Mr. Montgomery was elected. He's probably one of the youngest sheriffs to be elected in the country, but also the youngest one to be elected here in the city of St. Louis was elected last year. Went into office in January and made all types of sturdy steps, in my personal opinion. First, he went in and got rid of the whole staff. Normally when you go into a patron's office, which is when you have people that work there for different organizations, in the city, awards and what have you. Well, what Mr. Montgomery did, he went in and replaced everybody from day one. Well, that created a lot of problems because he did not, as he said, have all the information that he would need to operate his department. But people that he relied upon, he had fired. But not only did he fire them, these same people also end up suing the city for them to be able to get their back pay. So now, what did that mean? Well, it meant that the city but we got a technical problem. Just gotta take a small break and we'll be right back, okay? Scott, listen, Ferguson,
Yeah.
Okay, we out, okay. You listen to Ferguson USA, HotPowerRadio.com. He just said we have some technical difficulties trying to connect with our guests.
Ira, you're
And
sounding like you're in a well.
I do? Okay,
Yes.
Scott. Let's see, Scott. How can we? Okay. Okay, Scott. Hold on a second here.
You're live, though.
How do I sound now?
Farther down into the well.
Okay, take us out of here and call right back.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go on a little bit of break to take care of some technical difficulties.
back to lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce for a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in the city of St. Louis, and we just created some technical difficulties, but guess what? We are back. We have a very special guest today. First of all, let me say, Mr. Robert Rusan is a very unique man. He's a chef. He's an entrepreneur in many ways, but he also, I call him cousin to his part of the family. But Mr. Rusan, cousin, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Appreciate being invited and happy to share my story.
Yeah. Well, the good thing, you got a story to tell, and that's always what we'd like to get done here on our station here. You know, it bring people, information they normally can't get anyplace else. But anyway, Mr. Robert Rusan, Robert, tell us a little bit about. First of all, today we're talking about his entrepreneurship, which is something that's very unique in the whole country, our country, but not in the world. Tell us about you and Just Us Goats.
Well, we are a land clearing business, pretty much. We specialize in removing unwanted greenery, or either you might actually have some plants that need just pruning back. The goats are good for it, but they're good for the environment. Just here in St. Louis City, not county, there's over 2,000, I think, vacant lots, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And they'll never have enough manpower to keep up with it. It's, you get rid of a building because it's dilapidated, but then you turn around and let the vacant lot grow out of control. So you're, frying pan, boiling water, whichever one you're going to use. But a goat is just a great option to come in there and clean up a property. I've been doing it officially now for three and a half years, I think. And it's a non-stop business, really. There's enough. If you bring in St. Louis County, I could bring 1,000 goats into town and it still wouldn't be enough.
Okay, now Robert, let's digress a little bit, okay?
Okay.
That's okay. Now, when we talk about goats, okay, now people say, what is he talking about? Now, dating back for years in biblical times, goats been around a long time. And one of the things, back in the old days when we had the country when first getting started, the rancher didn't want goats on their land. Why was that?
Because goats are destructive.
Okay. Okay. Now.
Goats. I mean, when I say destructive, I mean they're heavy grazers. I mean, but a lot of ranchers prefer not a goat over a sheep because sheep they eat more grass. Mm-hmm. Goats eat up and down. Sheep, their head is just strictly down. Mm-hmm. And goats they'll eat grass, but they prefer foliage, roughage, stuff like that.
Okay, now. So now, one of the things that during the historical days, okay, they didn't have lawnmowers back in those days, and so the goat was actually the first lawnmower. Would you say that?
Well, I'm thinking pretty close to it because you can tie a goat up. People didn't know. I didn't realize that you can actually tie a goat up and we call that target eating. Because you just want the goat to eat this one particular spot versus your whole yard. If you have just certain areas, we're designed to keep the goat just in that area.
Okay, now. So now, first of all, okay, the person listening to this telephone call, this is our podcast today, they would say now, how did he get the goat in the first place?
Well,
okay.
That's really a long story, but I'll sum it up. The property we have up in St. Clair
Yes.
is how we in
No, we say in St. Clair.
Missouri.
This is in rural Missouri, for you understand. It's
Yeah.
off that main highway.
It's in Franklin County.
It's in Franklin County, okay, and which is definitely rural Missouri. And you got back roads, no roads to get there in some cases. But once you get there to the land that we have there, it's isolated. But at the same time, would that be a nice description, Robert?
Yeah.
It's isolated. But when you get there, we had a problem because we were being taxed by Franklin County for what? Tell us the story, Robert.
Because we weren't agriculture, and so when I found out that if we become I can't even think of the right term right now. Anyway, we became legal goat herders, and we would start raising goats.
Oh, the man.
Yeah, and we weren't raising them for meat per se. We were raising them to learn to clean up, and when I saw what a goat could do, I ended up buying goats because my neighbor took the goats back and started using them to clean up his property. He didn't even realize that they were good for that until he practiced with our property. So then that's when I went out and got goats, and
Okay, now we got on our property. Okay, I mean, this property is on a hill. I mean, it's not like straight backyard.
Yeah, we're on a mountain pretty much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, on the mountain. Okay.
Yeah, because our thing, there's no land above us.
I know it.
But there's lots of land below us as we go out. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything, that we go up to get there, and so now we're trying to paint a picture that you could imagine trying to use a lawnmower, trying to use a tractor, or trying to use anything to cut this land, to keep it from growing over. And keep in mind, we were not farmers. This was some land that was passed down from the families, and we used it for much as recreation, for like a better description. Am I right, Robert?
Correct. And we did have a guy with a big bulldozer. He came and buried the house for us and cleared some land, but that was costly. So we had to come up with an economical way to clear some more land. And through my job at the time, I was the chef at Maplewood Richmond Heights School District. We were very big with farm to school programs, and our meal program was one of the sponsors of Farm to School. Anyway, we were meeting with some farmers about growing for the next season, and the guy was saying, well, I'm gonna have to clear off another spot. Conversation goes, his buddies was like, well, how you gonna get that hill cleared? And he says, no, I'm just go get some goats. And that's when I heard the story of get some goats to clear some land. And I started investigating into it. And then I found out our neighbor up there in St. Clair had goats. That's George. And he brought 9 goats down. And I watched that process, and I'll hold it in my brain forever. It was amazing. When we had a fenced-in area, because nobody had experienced this. George didn't know what his goats were going to do, no more than we knew what the goats were going to do. And George put up an electric fence, brought them in, man, and it was like, they turned into savage beasts. That's the best way I can describe it. And the thicket was at least, lots of it was at least waist high.
Wow. That's what I said. When I said no cutting here, okay, we're not talking about no couple inches of grass, nothing like that. No.
These animals, I mean, I don't know what I did with the video, but it was like I said. Now you see it, now you don't. And once I got my goats and I brought them back, we got them up there. Then I brought them down here to clean up my property I had on Penrose. Well, they are
in North St. Louis City.
Yeah.
In fact, let's tell another story, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you the goats are full of stories.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There's so many stories, okay, about this goat. But the fascinating part why we have Robert here is that this is taken off around the country because a lot of places, like the city of St. Louis, most major cities, they have as land and houses. The houses are falling down, are being torn down, and money's not there to rebuild them again. So you have more vacant lots than you have houses in some cases. And to clean those lots is very expensive. So you gotta get tractors, you gotta get drivers, you gotta get gasoline, then you gotta get insurance. You're not gonna go down a list of things that you're gonna need for you to be able to get your tractors or your equipment on that land. And then also it's gonna break down on you at some point. So that's why income goes in us.
They can't solve all of the land situation, but they can sure help and maintain.
You know something wrong with what we didn't say, okay, is environmental friendly because there's no gasoline being burned in there.
Correct. Goats leave, their pellets are very small, and they are almost instant breakdown.
Now let's be honest, when we say pellets, okay, that means they're droppings.
Correct. And it's a great fertilizer. It's a quick responding fertilizer.
It melts when the rain hits it.
Pretty much, and anything that walks over it breaks it down. So like when the goats are in the pen or in the area, of course they're going to be have droppings throughout. But as they walk on it, that helps again to kind of crush it and also bury it to the ground somewhat. Not all of it now.
You know, Robert, as we had this conversation about the goats here, okay, and we haven't built off into this, in some other conversations, okay. But right now, goats are us. A lot of places, a lot of the inner cities, like here in St. Louis, we mentioned that we have lots and thousands of lots that need to be cut. And right now, the city cannot hire the people to do that. And so, income goes through us. So there's an opportunity there to go through us, okay, to help the city maintain several issues that they cannot address right now. And that is a shortage of manpower, as well as the land that continues to grow every year. That's how they don't cut it. That doesn't mean that it's going to stop growing. All right, so right now, tell us right now what your goats. How many goats you got in the world that, and how do you maintain the goats first of all?
Well, I have an area over in Wellston, and I have a pen.
Yeah, we said Wellston, okay.
Wellston, Missouri.
Wellston, Missouri, right. Okay.
And
that's a suburb on the edge of St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, they're right at St. Louis county city line. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, that's where I was built a pen. It's not very, let me state, I wasn't the most mechanical building person. So I went out and found the proper people to help me build the proper cage and stuff. And then I move them. I have a truck. I have a trailer. When I need to move goats around, and matter of fact, I have 2 trailers. One for my hay supplies and whatever else equipment that I need to haul or whatever. And but I try not to put. I do a lot of residential. So most municipalities have come to accept that people want goats to help clean up their yard. Most of the municipalities don't say anything unless they're going to be there more than a week. Then they'll question you. Also, the number of goats that you have on property. I normally run anywhere from 2 to 6 goats on the property, on the average.
Okay. And that's per day. How does that work?
That's per day until the job's done, and each job is. You can have the same exact size lot, but yours might be full of a total different growth of plants than I might on this other side have what they call like a thicket of bush and vine. So one's gonna take longer than the other.
Yeah.
And so each thing is each yard is just different. And but we've also got off into photo shoots with people using the goats for photos, and it's very popular for prom pictures.
For prom pictures?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a young lady want to be around her goat in her prom dress.
Yes. Go look on my Facebook page. You'll see it.
Okay, why don't you tell us your Facebook page?
Just Us Goats. That's the name of it. Same as my company.
Just Us Goats.
Yes. And but yeah, so they also like we did yoga, goat yoga. But I don't let my goats walk on your back.
Goat yoga.
Yes.
It's actually pretty popular, Ira.
Okay. Well, Scott says you said you okay. Wes, okay.
And we thought one of my goats was in a fashion show down on the riverfront for the main attraction. I mean, when I say this animal, I knew nothing about a goat. Didn't know anybody else. Buy goat milk, goat cheese, or something like that. Other than that, the value of this animal. Put it this way, a lot. There's a big meat market for a goat,
right?
But a live goat makes me more money than a dead goat. For me to sell a goat for the meat market, it's nothing compared to what I can get that goat to produce for me. As far as if it's a female, of course I can go for milk. I can use her for also cleanup, because I have female in my cleanup crew. So that's a dual purpose. Goat manure is a big seller. On the low end, I think it goes for around $15 a pound. For natural growers, farmers. Yeah. The animal just has a way of making money for itself, make it pay for itself, really.
Robert, the goats, I'm quite sure they use, the goat is an industry, animal is an industry all by itself.
I'm telling you, I've had to turn down work because it's just me and my small crew. But I have requests for goats as far as Lake of the Ozarks.
The Ozarks?
Yes. I had a man call me from past Chicago. I think it's on the other side of Springfield. Asked me, can I get my goats up there? It's really popular. Once you start looking into it, it's popular. The goats are very popular.
Okay, now, when these people are calling you, exactly what do they need to go to go in, to clean vegetation, to clean fields?
That's basically it. In most cases, that's it. They just want me to come in and have them clear. Poison ivy is what was the official start of me doing this officially.
Poison ivy, okay. Help me understand that.
Okay, so like I told you, I got the goats from up there in St. Clair, blah blah.
Right.
And I was putting my little videos out, and I was putting them out as Chef Robert got some goats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, some lady in the youth city.
Okay. Before we go any further, okay. When we say Chef Robert, okay, Robert working with the Maplewood School District.
Yes.
Where you won all type of awards. Tell us a little bit about that before we saying Chef Robert, okay? He's not just saying this as a phrase in the family, okay? That is official. That you had recognition. Tell us about some of the recognition that you got.
Well, I was a chef for the food service program, and we were big advocates of farm to school, seed to table program, and I was very instrumental in coming up with a program that was acceptable to the kids as well as to the government, and we received a national award. We were one out of 5 schools in the United States to receive this School Nutrition Hero Award. We've been recognized across the country, and so I did work while cooking for Maplewood, we became recipe developing schools for other school districts, and different companies would come in, like the egg industry, and have us develop recipes for them. The dairy industry, the beef industry, the mushroom industry, they all came to my kitchen so we can develop recipes for school meals.
Robert, that leads me to something else, okay, that I had thought about. With the cutback in nutrition programs for the school districts right now, how your need of what you're doing becomes even more important, am I right?
Let's say that again.
With the cutbacks, in federal aid to different programs, school programs, seem like the program that you have produced, okay, would be a blessing to those schools.
Well, there's shortage of help in that area.
Oh.
And there's also a shortage of experienced help in cooking when you cook in volume. Mm-hmm. So right now, unfortunately, and that's an industry to my heart, that they're cutting these programs, and the school service program is minimally financed, and they work on a string budget, and it's tough, and they do their best, but it really takes money. And at the time, the district that I was employed by invested more into the food service industry, in the food meal program, and
times have changed now.
Times have changed, and budgets. When you say that word budget, believe me, it's on the string when it comes to food service. Wow. But anyway, so a lady saw my video. Go back to the goats. The lady saw my video of me and my goats, and she calls me, and she's like, "Are you the man with the goats?" And I'm like, "Boy, I don't know if I want to answer that." I'm like, "This is just our house." Anyway, long story short, I told her I was. She asked me to come over. She had a big patch of poison ivy. I had never seen a patch of poison ivy this large. It was like, it had to be at least, about 10 feet wide and about 20 feet deep.
My God.
Yeah, it was pretty big. And so I saw it, and she says none of the landscape companies will send a crew in, and they didn't want Roundup. So she did her research, and somebody in her Facebook group from U City told her about me.
University. No, we said U City.
Oh, that's University City.
That's another suburb of St. Louis County, which is border of St. Louis, Missouri also. Okay, go ahead.
And so anyway, I went over and I looked, and I took 2 goats back over to her yard, and I guess they stayed there about a week. Because there was some on the other side of the garage, and another little area on the other side. Really the
poison ivy just spread once it gets going.
Yeah, and I had never seen it spread like this. I mean, again, that's new to me. I mean, I knew about poison ivy, but I've never seen a bed of poison ivy. Anyway, the goats came in there, and when they finished, she said, "I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do right now." I said, "What is?" The goats are finished. And she said, "No, you're gonna go get a name and register, and I have a list of customers for you already." And ever since then, my phone has never stopped working for the goats.
Now, how long ago has that been?
About 3 years ago. At least about 3.5 years ago.
Now, that's on the average, okay? How much would you charge a person, for, let's say we just talked about the plot with the poison ivy. Just a guesstimation, okay, that is the exact figure, okay? How much do you charge, to clean up a regular lot?
That's about $350 to $400 job.
Okay. And now, in your case, the goat, there's a goats on the land, right?
Correct. They stay there overnight.
Okay, now who watches them overnight?
Customer. It's just like you rent a car. Who watches the car when you rent a car?
Okay.
No, it's kind of, but yeah. In most cases, there's only a few times that I'll pick my goats up. And if I feel that that's not a good idea, then I just won't do the job.
Okay, now how many goats do you have right now, Robert?
Right now I have 12.
Okay.
That's really small. I need probably at least another 15 goats to really do what I would like to do. I introduced myself to Slate today.
Okay, that's
yesterday.
Wait a minute. We said Slate, that's the St. Louis. That's St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment. That's called Slate.
Yes.
Training program in the city of St. Louis that we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I'm trying to sit down with them, and I had spoken with the mayor and about the program and the goats. She met the goats when I had them cleaning up City Park over on the south end of St. Louis City, and spoke with her communicating director of communications about what the goats could do with the Slate program, as far as teaching the young folks that, hey, this is the new way of going green and clean.
Well, Robert, one thing, as we had talked extensively about this, you and I,
Right.
have some experience, in city government. As I wrote a proposal for a program, for training, in my original guy years ago. But here in this, where you find yourself as a business model, that you're training people how to how to make money for a lifetime.
It really is.
How
It really is. I mean, I don't see if this ever gets really up and going. It's here to stay for a long time. It's just cleaning up vacant lots for a long time. It will be here.
But now you can get a contract with the city alone, okay?
Right, or the different municipalities out here.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, it's not a fluke. We did that back in the day deal. No, it should be here to stay.
I know, cause you and I talked about these goats before, time and time again, okay? And they keep coming up, okay? And then like right now, you and Scott just introduced me to something, goat yoga, which according to you guys is a very popular thing.
Yes, it is. There's there's even goat therapy.
Okay, enlighten me. Explain it to me.
I actually watched my goats make gangbangers put their guns down and sit down and talk. When I would let the goats clean out area when I had them over on Penrose. I mean, literally.
Yeah, because Penrose is the drug infested area.
Yes, I mean,
like a better description.
At the time, it was very gang. It had lots of gangs.
That was a gang infested area, drug infested, gang infested.
Yeah,
they go hand in hand.
And so I introduced them. When I first brought them out, they ran. Some of them dropped their guns and ran. Yeah, and it was.
Okay, Rob, hold on a second. These gangs, remember, supposed to be some bad dudes, right?
Same thing I thought. And I'm kind of glad they ran and then didn't focus.
Yeah, because I thought you would be exactly the opposite, okay? That they be shooting at the goats.
Right. And after that, I introduced them to them and let them see what I had the goats there for. They was inquisitive and mystified. Why do I have goats down there in the middle of the hood?
Right.
And then when they see me let them clean up the vacant lots, because the city couldn't keep up with them. And that's how they got to the hood. Goats in the hood.
yeah. I remember back in another life. Okay, I used to be the chairman of the neighborhood association for the 3rd Ward. And that area you talk about, okay, that's why I know so much about it.
Right. Yeah.
It was rough.
No playground.
No, it wasn't no playground. It was rough, okay, and then when we say rough, okay, we talking about people, coming up dead, gang war, turf wars, and stuff like that.
Constantly. Well, I'm telling you, once the goats came over, literally, the gangbangers and the police would stop almost simultaneously and talk while the goats are out.
Goat therapy. I'm gonna say this. Who would have thought it?
The police would come by on their break. And I let the goats loose. They used to hang out on the backside of my property, and they faced Lee Avenue right there.
Yeah, right which is a major thoroughfare.
Right. And police would pull over, get out, come and just chill out with the goats.
In the
postal
hood.
workers,
Women in the hood.
in the hood, the postal workers. Ladies asked me how long I was going to be out with the goats. I said, I'm probably at least another 45 minutes, an hour. She said, good. She came back. I guess she went and turned her stuff in, came back, and had a beer with her and sat down in the middle of this field with the goats.
You know, Robert, I guess as we have this conversation here, black businesses right now are hurting around our country, and actually in our communities, are finding new ways, for them to, create revenue for themselves, but also sustain them. And right now, from a business perspective, you have a unique perspective with a unique, unendless business model that will continue to grow and grow, because
it should be as popular as the other parts of landscaping businesses.
So let me ask you a question: how does the other landscaping business, accept you?
Most of them don't care because they don't want to do the work that I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Especially in the hood.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
And they want to get in and get out. And I don't have to. Like a lot of my customers, well, not a lot, but quite a few of my customers have a land grass cutting crew, and then she has a goat crew.
So now, these regular customers, do you go by on a regular basis?
Yeah, some of them.
Like on a schedule, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I most of the time we do it once or twice in the season.
Okay. Now, what is the season?
Well, I say anywhere from April. We probably can get into the first week of November.
Okay.
But then that's when you get creative and you do all these other Halloween's coming up. There's a photo shoot for Halloween with goats.
Oh yes.
Bring your kids by and we'll dress the goat up and we take pictures. That's another one of the ways of financing the goat through the winter. Same with Christmas, same with Thanksgiving.
Okay, now, this is a heavy question I'm about to ask you, but it's not a heavy question, okay? Okay. Christmas, as we know, is in the middle of the winter, so to speak. How do you, and biblically speaking, when Christ was born, and he was around goats and sheep at that time. How do you protect them in those seasons?
Oh, how do I house them?
How that's what I'm looking for.
Like I said, they have a little barn that I made, and then I have separate sleeping quarters, and you put some hay down. And goats are hardier than people think. When I first had them out in I used to keep them out in Ferguson, Florissant, at this church. I had them out there, and boy, did I get harassed about my goats are gonna freeze to death. And
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying from a biblical perspective.
No, goats are hardy. Now, baby goats aren't hardy for the winter.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah.
Okay, but look, my goats made it through last winter, made it through the tornado. They're hardy.
Yeah, you can't add tornado to the list now. being self-sustaining.
No, they and then you get plenty of straw for bedding, so they can be off the ground a little bit, and they'll pack up together, so they know what to do. They'll go lay down with each other and stand next to each other.
Okay, Robert, let me ask you a question. Well, not ask a question. Why don't we get some numbers here, okay, so people can get in contact with you? Who are saying, they listen to these podcasts, Spotify or different podcast sites. How can they get in contact with you, to engage for several things now as you guys open up, okay? One, for employing your services, to clean the land for them. And then I guess I say, for people that want to hire you for Halloween and different seasons and whatever.
They can just call my telephone number, 314-503-9064. I'll be honest, it's probably better to text me.
Okay. Hold on 1 second here.
But I will answer both, but I respond faster to the text.
Okay. Well, Robert, guess what? Okay. Robert, guess what? We've been joined by our national president, Mr. Chuck DeBoer. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing great. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Chuck, so I think you may have spoken to Robert before, I'm not quite sure. But Robert has a unique business here in St. Louis that he has. It's called Go to Us.
No, it's called Just Us Goats.
I'm Just Us Goats. Just Us Goats. And what he
Goats
does,
like Casper?
Goats. Goats
Are
like
you
the
saying
animal.
G-H-O-S-T-S?
G-O-A-T-S.
Goats.
Oh, like greatest of all time. Okay.
Yes.
you're right.
Real goats.
Real goats. Go ahead, Robert.
I have a land clearing business that I use goats, and it has taken off. It's very popular. I knew nothing about a goat when I got a goat except how to cook it.
And this is in St. Louis?
Yes.
I think I've seen weren't you on the news?
Yes.
You took it, it's like, you could, I think this, the one I saw, the clip I saw was like 80 goats went in somewhere and turned overgrown whatever into a very reclaimed type of area. I mean, it was like somebody's yard or farm or something. It was not a huge area.
I was on Channel 2 News 2 weeks ago. For our St. Louis City Parks. I did a job for them cleaning up an area with goats. PBS did a story where I cleaned up a camp out in Dittmer, Missouri with the goats. We did work at Camp Wyman. There was a story about us out there doing some work. Stories all over, I guess.
This is interesting. It's a very interesting business consideration because it is an advantage when it's cost efficient.
Yes.
There's certain applications that certain situations that really make sense. So, what's your business growth and development strategy?
Well, first just get myself back. I wasn't expecting to do this. This was supposed to be a little part-time hobby thing,
Well, then we can help you out with that because it doesn't have to be. I understand how some things just fall in your lap, like
yeah,
God.
That's what this is. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, are you a farmer? I mean, are you raising the goats?
Yeah, I raise them. I've learned to do it all.
One-stop shopping. One-stop shopping.
All right, brother, folks. I'm gonna hand the ball back to you. I got it. I'm dialed in. I know whichever way you want to take it. I'm with you.
Well, really, Chuck, he had to be a cousin, part of the family, okay? And we had some. The story is that
he started this, and like you said, it's growing and growing from even from therapy, from the police department. Chuck, we had a story we just told where and there's a part of St. Louis where the gangbangers had actually taken over, and he had the goats over there, and the gangbangers put their gun down and ran. He came back and started petting the goats. So it's unlimited, okay, the effect they can have in the community. But they can cut the grass, poison ivy, all those things. They can cut lots and all that. That's what they do.
Well, and I see that, but I kind of see it like a government contracting kind of thing. Well, you know what I mean? And by that I mean, so my wife and I were just driving down the street today, and we were like saying that most of these places where like there's a stop sign or some kind of sign or a road sign, it's overgrown. You can't read them. You can't see them because everything's overgrown. And then when you get along the highway, there are these intrusive vines and weeds that turn into trees. You know, but along the roadside or along any kind of public place where, you know, they used to take the chain gang out there and make you pick the trash up or make you trim the side of the road and all that. I haven't, you know, up here up north, we don't see that like we used to see, you know, the people in the orange suits or down south. I mean, it was rough. But nonetheless, there are applications where places where this is perfect for goats because it's cost efficient, and there may be some kind of community value in it, or something like what you're talking about, the gangbangers. Yes, that might be a business for them to be part of, or something, you know. I don't know.
We did a little. Well, I did an experiment with the younger kids on the block. They were all grade school, from second grade up to about the 5th grade. We had a program called Kids and Kids Clean Up the Block. You know, a baby goat is a kid, and the child is a kid. The kids went in with gloves and bags, picked up the trash. We took the goats in. After that, the goats cleaned and cut the lot. One kid wrote a story for her ecology class, and that was her story.
Well, like I said, it's unlimited. There's Chuck, man. This could be, you know, Chuck hit on something. Robert, that's probably easy to get into is some of these state programs who need you on the side of the highways. Right, you know, in communities, they can't get no people. But the chain gangs are gone for the most part.
You know, and abandoned properties and all kinds of stuff like that. And especially, like, you know, there's some guys that go around, they're promoting their landscaping business by driving through a neighborhood looking for the worst house or an abandoned house. Or, you know, everybody knows that when you see one where the grass ain't been cut like in years and the bushes are overgrown, and you don't really know if somebody even in the house that you got to kind of weed through to find the house. Those kind of overgrown properties. Real estate companies might have that.
We did that over in the city of Wellston. A lady, you know, back to that, how did you get a overgrown lot where you tear down the building? Now you got a vacant lot. What happens? Can't keep up with it. She hadn't seen the side of her house in 2.5 years because they tore the house down, but then they didn't keep the ground cut, and all of a sudden those vines and all those honeysuckle and kudzu and all the weeds you want took over, and so she couldn't go on that side of her house. I brought the goats over. The lady hated goats when she heard the idea. When the goats finished, the lady loved the goats. She was able to walk on her sidewalk for the first time in 2.5 years.
Do you have to I won't say starve, but you got to manage if they're hungry or not.
No, I mean, I feed my goats, but no, goats are greedy.
They're always hungry.
You know, and like I tell you, they don't eat everything. Okay, there's certain plants that they won't eat. Some just not good for them, or some just don't set well with them. It's not many, but you know, I had to learn which plant to avoid.
But they do eat poison ivy though.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That was I was telling, that's my first job was because of poison ivy. A lady couldn't get a contract company to come in and do it and get rid of it. So she called me. And that was the first time we went out and did an actual job.
Are you cheaper than what are the alternatives? How would you would there be a landscaping company that have to come in and cut bushes and all that?
Yeah, I'm cheaper than them in most cases. But now, they'll come in and be faster than me, like I tell them. Well, in my case, I don't have to rush, especially with my residentials. I mean, I set my pace because it's just me right now. But I go in and most of the time, I'm cheaper than them.
Okay, now Chuck, in all honesty, we're in the process now trying to see if we can get a program together where he can start training some people, okay, in this business, where he can have, some people that he can have go out, with them and have crews, and there can be more than just him, managing the goats.
Well, we heard him say it. He said it's just me and whatever. So then the next question is supply versus demand.
Right.
And scaling up. How many goats you gonna need to really make X amount of dollars to make this a living, to make a living of it, and how many jobs can be created? Then you have somebody like HUD, and if they're still following even to the least degree of the law or the way it was written, residents of HUD, people that are dependent upon the federal government or public support, they have to support giving them a job first. So let's say, the government owns a lot of land all over the place, too much. Trump said he wants to get rid of some of it. They own too much. So all these old housing complexes, like what you just talked about, anytime they tear down, and they got to tear them down. They had this in Detroit, where those abandoned houses started becoming crack houses.
Right. Yes,
and then when they tore them down, they started putting gardens and stuff in there. So, the goats would go hand in hand. But more importantly, we could teach somebody how, you could have a little herd of goats for regionally or by neighborhood or something.
Right.
If you could scale how much work is there, how many goats. And like what you were just saying, it takes time in that regard, but we talk about abandoned properties. They ain't got nothing to split time.
It's the abandoned property is, like I said, it's a gold mine. If you don't do nothing else, if it was free for you to bring a goat in and eat, like you said,
that's something right there. Let's say they're really, the funding is really for job training, job development, but in actuality, is part of the application training program is to go over here and take this vacant lot of this public housing property. I was just thinking too, like around a lot of railroads and stuff. Mm-hmm.
It's like it's endless.
Got 5 minutes, Ira.
Okay. Okay, I tell you what, Scott, I'm sorry, Chuck, after the program, I'm going to get you with you and Robert together so we can brainstorm a little bit after the program, okay?
We can just skip right to the loo. I think the first thing you do is go make sure you're registered with the city, county, and the state.
Okay.
And we just come right back and we start competing with these landscaping contracts. Have some fun with it. Make it, I'm with you. Whatever y'all want to do, God bless you. I appreciate and respect somebody's innovating and bringing together various aspects of society, because there may be an element that we can put this in farming. You know what I mean?
Right.
Farming, helping to clear some of the land that they make it so it's farmable.
As I said, Chuck, this goes back to Christ's day. That's what they did.
Yeah, and it's see, we're way busy now. You ever go deep on us there talking about a herder? You know, he's just a shepherd.
Right, just a shepherd.
Where's Reverend?
Oh no, he's not on today because of his wife. Okay, so he's
all right. Well, let him know that he was reverently thought of.
Oh yes.
All right.
Always.
All right, let's be leaders. Let's help this brother, and let's make this business, and let's bring some customers right here that are listening to us right now.
Well, we're gonna do that. Okay, now, Robert, drop off for 1 second. Okay, and I'm gonna give Chuck 2 minutes. Okay, to give us a quick update of what he's been going on. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay, Chuck, go ahead.
Nice meeting you, Robert.
Okay, you got the next 2 minutes, Chuck, to catch up the best way you can.
This week was the World Bank Week in Washington D.C. and I'm a skeptic. I'm a critic. It's something they've been doing for I don't know how many years, over 20 years. You know, they do this twice a year, and these ministers of finance and people from all over come in and meet the World Bank, and they're going to solve the world's problems, finance, and get these going. But we just try to figure out who got what, who got a deal, who could do some work, who can we talk to? Because we're still in the same predicament we were before they had it. And nonetheless, while that was going on, one of our members has created a new organization called the Africa Investment Network. And they had their first conference here, and there's a lot of little things that come out of this kind of stuff. One of them is that we've been falling back on having activities and events because of the corporations, and then when we're not writing you a check anymore. Right. Well, now we said, okay, we just support ourselves, except we don't have to be in that hotel where they're charging you 36% gratuity. Breakfast that just was $88 a plate for 400 people. Now they jumped it up to 111. And so you got to figure out which just drives costs up, which makes people got to pay more to register. So we were a Catholic university, which is, very much like everybody got a university of some sort. But they said, no, we ain't got no problem. Why don't you just give us a little bit of money to cover this room? Like we did. They had everything set up, everything laid out.
Like we did at Howard University years ago for the conference.
Yeah, that's right. We all did that. We've been there and done that. And even in the cases where you go to a black restaurant or something, they got a little space in the back, and we just work out a deal. Nonetheless, this thing worked out.
Go ahead, Chuck. I'm sorry, go ahead.
This thing worked out. It was first class. We had investors from Africa, from all around America that came. We had some bankers. There's some venture capitalists and private equity people were there, and it was really nice. But we broke ground on some new stuff. That's what we did this week. That's this week in the NBCC. That's one of the things. Got a lot of new programs coming. Everything. Oh, the other thing we do too, Ira, and I'm not sure if you were on it. We had
I couldn't get in on the call. I tried to register, but I couldn't get in.
Yeah, it was. And I'll be honest, I purposely did it late. So,
it was late. It was late. Okay.
Yeah, I know. You just got maybe a 24-hour notice on that one.
Right.
But it was a 360i hub, and you got a free subscription license for you to get in there and to see what it is. But it's where you go if you're looking for money and you trying to start a business, you got a business, or you're doing very well. You might be doing 5 million, 10, 25 million in sales right now, but you say, I don't know, how do I get to 100? How do I get from 50,000 to 500,000? And all this stuff, all the information, all the stuff, the boot camp, the connections, everything is within this portal that we've just created, and it's called the 360i Innovation and Entrepreneurship Hub. NBCC 360i. You'll be hearing a lot more, but what happened was we found out there's 215,000 funders that are connected to the back end of the portal that are waiting for these businesses. So this is what your chamber will be able to offer to people. And yes, you're gonna be paying probably about $35, $39 a month in it, but you're connected to billions in some cases. But we'll talk more about it. That was another thing we did.
Okay, well, right now, I know we're listening to Chuck DeBoe. Chuck, I will be calling you very shortly, so I'll just take my call. But right now, listen.
I don't take it for call.
Okay, let's talk to Chuck DeBoe. And matter of fact, he will be with us again next week. Since Chuck has been up to the United Nations, he's been on a whirlwind in the last couple of weeks. So we're happy to have you today, Chuck. So tell us a little bit right now, okay, typically, what is a Chuck DeBoe day like right quick?
How much time I got? Listen, Chuck DeBoe's days transcend it goes, man. It's like I'm doing good if I can sleep because I got a lot on my mind.